What is up, my friends? Today we're going to be reviewing Pivot Grip's newest iteration, and we're going to be taking a look at why they got rid of the classic pivot. So after much anticipation, the final version of the Pivot Grips have finally arrived to my doorstep, and I've been very, very excited to break these out and play with them. So as you open the box, you see it says Pivot Grips on the top and then no more dangle. One of the big things I love about Pivot Grips is the no more dangle concept, which is instead of having those grips flapping around or having to tuck them or otherwise while you're transitioning from, say, pull-ups to a barbell or a dumbbell of sorts, the nice thing is they actually can wrap around and pivot, right? They pivot in position, wrap around, and they can tie in really nice, and they're out of the way. And then to get back in position, it's just a quick flip back on, and you're good to go. I have every iteration that there has ever been, at least that's been sold by the company. This is the first generation where you have kind of the split here in the grip piece. As well, there's a lot of padding here, which was really nice, and you can see on this little screw piece, this is where it pivots. Now in that first iteration, it wouldn't stay as tight. However, I used these for probably anywhere from 700 to 1,000 pull-ups, so over a good span of time, and I had no issues with them. They would quick screw back in, good to go, and I could do that with my finger or my thumb really easily. In the second iteration, similar setup. It's got the wider gap in the finger holes, and then it's got the pivot screw, which is really nice. And again, ease of access, easy to use. And I do like that they have this thicker cushioning kind of ergonomical feel to them. Now in the third iteration, they got a bit smaller. Still has the nice cushion piece on it. It's just cut down smaller. And you'll notice that the actual pivot screw is in the middle and it's not exposed when it's wrapped around and on. Went back to the 2-hole piece. Again, these are great grips across the board, and they're the pads for the hands, right? The grip for the hands are similar across the board. However, one thing I did notice is in the newest iteration, these are very soft, and I like that they grip fairly well. While the other ones I had some grip, but for whatever reason, this one, maybe it's because they're just new right now. I've used them several times so far and have had no issues, but I do like how they feel, kind of this almost like suede type feel. Now you'll notice on these latest iterations, there's a few things different here. One, you look at the piece, the strap that wraps around your wrist, and that's very different. It's changed quite a bit. It's a bit smaller, and it's actually really smooth material. Has a decent thickness to it, a little bit thicker than the actual pad for your hand itself. And when you put these on, you'll notice something different from every variation prior to it, which is there's no screw. So when I first saw this, I was caught off guard because for whatever reason, I was just assuming that there was a screw piece in there and it was just gonna pivot like it normally does, and no, it doesn't. And so I actually reached out to Pivot Grips and asked him about this, and then all of a sudden I realized why the stitching is the way it is, and it made sense, and I was like, duh, Ryan, come on, man, right in front of your eyes. So you'll see here, it's really easy to simply fold at the stitch and wrap and strap into place. Super simple, as opposed to having the pivot piece, the pivot screw, which is great. However, you don't have to fiddle with that screw at all now. These are also extremely lightweight compared to the other ones. You could put both of the new ones together against one of the original ones and they'd weigh about the same. So it's nice having a little bit lighter strap, and it's still comfortable, still works really well, and super easy again to pivot around to the side just via a stitch this time rather than the screw. So no more dangle, soft grip, very easy to fold and wrap, You can add chalk to this if you want. For those of you that like to add chalk to your grips, I totally get that because we use different types of apparatus to be able to pull or hold on to. And the final thing that I really like about these grips is they are very affordable and they last. I've had these grips for years, all these variations for years, and I've never had to replace anything on them ever, and I've been doing CrossFit and all variations of fitness for a long time, utilizing them with no issue. Never had to return anything, never had to fix anything, never had to replace anything. So these are a great product for their price and for the lifetime of the product itself. Right now, I believe you can get the newest iteration for around 20 or so bucks. They do make them custom to your hand, so there is some extra sizing involved. So be aware of that as you're getting into it. But I would jump on there now, especially while the price is low, because I do not doubt that these are gonna go up in price here soon. Well, that's it for today's review on the Pivot Grips. I'll see y'all in the next one, and until then, don't forget to train to be explosive.